All right, we're going to try this. Folks, you are here at AutoConverse and you are tuned in. You can hear I have no voice, but we're going to get through this. You are tuned in to the AutoConverse on air future mobility and connectivity live weekly broadcast. Wow. I might have to do a lot of muting as I cough. You might also be tuned into our podcast as well, which is obviously a recording of today's show, which is Wednesday, November 28th. I'm Ryan Gerardi, and I do thank you for joining us. We were experimenting this morning with streaming through new broadcasting software, and we did some testing and got everything working. And then when it was time to go live, it didn't sync up and work. So we had to kind of go to plan B, which is pretty much our standard format that we go with. So you have, we use Zoom webinar to conduct these. Now I've got Brandon Cauble in the wings. He's going to be joining us in just a moment. And I really apologize. I knew this was going to be difficult, so I'm going to have to hit mute a couple times. So really what I should do is have Brandon do all the talking. But we'll have him on in just a moment. Today, big news came out this week. NASA landed its spacecraft on Mars. It's the 7th or 8th, I think the 7th landing on Mars in human history. And they landed InSight. And I was going to show some videos, but I'm going to scrap that just because it doesn't come out too well in the live stream. Also, some big news. GM announced some major cutbacks. So I'm going to go through those and talk about what that's all about. I'd like to first, before I get started, is just introduce something related to one of our sponsors. So what I'm going to do is share my screen real quick. And if you go up to autoconversion.net, look under masterminds, and there's an auto retail section. And I want you to look in here for video marketing for auto retail. If you're in the car business and you're looking to embrace video, this is a great educational series. It's completely free to everybody. So click on that link. There's about a 1.5-minute video here that explains what's in this educational series. And all you got to do to get it is fill out your information here. And you'll be brought to this page on our website. It's got parts A, B, C, and D. And within each part are 2 to 3 different videos. We get into the different types of videos you can do, technology, editing software, equipment that you need, lighting, styles of video. Part D gets into hosting and distribution. So this is everything you need to get into video marketing, either as an individual at a dealership or for a dealership as an entity. Check this out. Again, go to Masterminds Auto Retail and look for that video marketing series and get all this free. Just fill out your information and you will get that. And that's all brought to you by Flick Fusion. So great stuff in there. Be sure to check that out. What I'd like to do is, like I said, I got Brandon coming on now. Brandon is down in Texas. He's an advertising guy. He's got a lot of cool stuff going on, and he's going to be able to share some of that with us. And we're going to go through that. Sorry, hold on. Man, you know what? In this business, you can't take a day off when stuff like this happens. You just got to be here. So I appreciate you guys being here, sticking this out, listening to this, roughing through this. And still looking forward to having a good conversation. So as I mentioned, GM earlier, they announced just recently, like within the last week, they were shutting down a plant up in Canada, Oshawa, Canada. But now they've announced that they're halting production in Lordstown, Ohio, right along Route 80. I drive by there a lot. And Detroit. And 2 powertrain facilities are also being halted. And then some unidentified plants as well. I got to tell you, talking is pretty rough. They're also taking steps to reduce its salaried workforce by 15%, which is about 8,000 jobs. And that includes 25% fewer executives to help streamline decision-making. So these are pretty big moves, and that's not everything. They're axing the Cadillac XTS, the LaCrosse, the Chevy Volt, the Cruze, the Impala. Notice most of those are cars. I think we all know car sales are dropping. There's still over 6 million cars being sold in the US right now each year, which is a market, but they're dropping. So, what do these cuts signify? What do they tell us? They tell us that GM, who has re-identified itself recently as a mobility company, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, they started referring to themselves as a mobility company. And these are necessary changes. These are huge, massive changes. You might have caught what I said. They're halting production. They're not dismantling, getting rid of these. They're halting production. They're going to retro outfit all this stuff for what? EVs, autonomous driving vehicles, probably fleet services. Who knows? But they get it. They're evolving. They're changing. So, jobs are being lost, and that's always tough. But this is evolution. This is the way it is in our business, and GM's on the front end of that, and we're seeing that today. Here's what I like to do. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I don't even think I was sharing it, was I? And bring Brandon on. So Brandon, you're here with us, right?
I'm here.
What's up, my man?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Sorry that your first on-air experience is me choking to death here. It's not normally like this. So I appreciate you being here and toughing through this as well. So you're in Texas. And as we can see from your background, your company is Advanced Advertising. I knew I'd get it wrong. Why don't you say A.A.D.A.M? What is that?
Advanced Advertising, Development, and Marketing.
Development and marketing. And you have a lot going on. I mean, in the conversations that we've had, you've got a few different businesses. You work not just in automotive retail, but retail in general. Got a lot of neat stuff going on. Just to give folks that might not know you a little background, why don't you just take a moment to tell us, just bring us up to speed on who you are and where you're at with your businesses.
I started off pretty much in the car business back in 2000. For the last 7 years, I owned my own independent dealership where I was a partner to start. For the last couple of years of it, I was an independent dealer. I've done marketing since 2001. I did marketing sales for car dealerships all across the United States. I also had a marketing company here locally. We do indoor digital advertising. We do social media marketing. We do video marketing, and pretty much any sort of digital marketing or direct mail marketing that you need. But I originally was a car guy to begin with, obviously, and just slowly moved into marketing. Being my first gig, I was in the car business for about 6 months before I actually went to work for a marketing company that traveled the country, and I did that off and on for about 10 years. So kind of a big car and marketing background to do with automotive, but I've shifted probably in the last 5 years to a local marketing company as well. I'd like to build up something here just to have a platform here at home and not just be nationalized. We do email marketing on the nationwide scale. We do direct mail. I mean, like I said, pretty much anything you want to do in that area, we do it.
Okay. Now you say platform. What do you mean by platform?
Well, I just want to have a business here that doesn't depend on everything else. Before it's all said and done, obviously this is where I'm from, and I have 5 kids and they're all here, and I'm not leaving this city. So this is where I'm going to be at. And obviously I want to build something that will be there for them as well. And I've got a partner in this company as well. So, we'd like to build something up here that it supports itself with here locally. That way, eventually, if we don't want to be flying all over the place or going different places, we've still got the local market to do as we get older. Or pass it to the kids and they can run around and do the national marketing.
Now you were showing me examples of your entertainment TV, which it's pretty common. I mean, not common like I don't mean in a bad way, but when you go to restaurants and venues, you'll see, these displays running stuff, and you're doing probably not just the hardware, but you're doing the programming, right? You're managing the information that's coming through on the displays, correct?
Correct. We do it all digitally through the internet. So mean, like it's a quick example. So it'll have like, it has videos on it. It'll have the local weather. It'll have news, sports, trivia. And then obviously in between the videos and everything else that go through it, it'll flip local ads for businesses around here. So like I have them in restaurants. I have them in automotive dealership waiting rooms. I've got them in bars, those types of places to where kind of where you have a captivated audience. You know, you got outdoor digital advertising. Don't get me wrong, it's a great form of advertisement and always has been, but it's come to the point now where the ads flip and they're at the corner of the stoplight. So you got to hope that that board is on your ad and the light's red in order for them to read it, or it comes up soon enough when they're driving by at 45, 50 miles an hour that they get an opportunity to see your ad.
Yeah.
Whereas mine, it'll be, you know, you got 45 minutes an hour sitting in a restaurant. Obviously, you're going to sit and stare at the TV on the wall. And again, with it having trivia questions, I mean, there's something for everybody there, not just for ads flipping. You know, you got kids stuff where it's got the movies locally, it's got trivia questions, it's got quotes from people before time, news, weather. Pretty much touches all age groups and keeps your eyes on board.
For those that are listening on the podcast, you didn't get to see what Brandon was showing. So you'll have to go check out the live stream up on our YouTube channel to see that. And speaking of live stream, remember, you can always watch our weekly show on our website. If you go to AutoConversion.net, there's a menu option for watch. And there's one for on air, which is our weekly show. And there's one for masterminds and white collar therapy as well. So you can tune in there for the currently live show. Of course, if you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and have notifications on, you'll be notified every time that we stream live. And again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I use Zoom so that we can facilitate a webinar format and have multiple guests and screen share. But unfortunately, Zoom, when you stream to YouTube live, it can't sync up with a pre-scheduled event. So I have to use broadcasting software to make that possible. And it just didn't work. So we'll get that worked out, but hopefully the recording comes out okay. Brandon, the platform you have, is it only going to benefit people in a local area where you are, or do you have a regional or national reach as well?
It's actually funny you say that. Right now, I just have a local reach, but really and truthfully, I'm going to go ahead and do a shameless plug. If there is any advertising company out there that is interested in doing indoor digital advertising, I don't have to be there to do it. And you don't have to be a design wizard to do it. I can actually, as long as you're there to hang the TV, I control everything from the internet here. Actually, my partner controls everything. His name is Michael Velasquez, and he's the one who gets online. He can change the ads, he can build the ads, design them, any of those things. He's in charge of taking care of all of that. And it can be done remotely from right here.
Okay. All right, good. Well, then definitely something to talk about. Now, part of the interest I had of bringing you on, especially for this particular date. So we just got done with Thanksgiving.
Right.
And hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I trust you did. You got a big family, I think, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. And so I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Now that I think about it, I apologize. But we have Black Friday, okay, the day after, and all weekend. And then you got Cyber Monday. And, it's just constant. This is the shopping season, right? It's just pressure, sale, buy. How does that affect your business? And how does that change or influence your creative, your ads and your campaigns that you're doing for your entertainment TV you were showing us?
I'm not going to say it changes all that much, really and truthfully, because really the way that we like to think about it is the beginning part of our structure is we provide a marketing plan. So, I mean, not everybody has $100,000 to spend. Some companies only have $500. Some companies have $10,000. It just depends. But really and truthfully, it's setting up that marketing plan to get the most bang that you can get out of it with the amount of money that you have to spend, because that's always been a real big thing for me. I didn't want to only focus on the big guys. I wanted to focus on the little guys as well, because those are big days, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I mean, there's people that get out online and spend a lot of money, but you plan for that, in other words. So when you set up a marketing plan, obviously you already knew that was coming, and then you build an ad that obviously is going to be wrapped around that. And in today's market, really and truthfully, it's video marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can look at, there's a billion users on YouTube, and there's over 1 billion hours streamed every 24 hours, believe it or not. So, you got, that shows you right there. You want to get a part of that. Facebook, there's 3 billion people on the internet worldwide. Well, 2 billion of them are active on Facebook every day. I mean, it's pretty obvious where you want to attack. Now, that comes down to how do you want to do that? How much money do you have to spend? How big is your ad spend, and where do you want to place it? As far as for a little guy, I mean, obviously the best place for the little guy to advertise who doesn't have a bigger budget is going to be to use the Facebook option in there, that you can advertise to the people that already know you and the people that know them, because it's obviously close to home. If you've got a storefront, you're gonna get a lot of a lot of activity on that, because I mean, obviously people have to know you, like you, trust you before they spend money with you, and that's pretty obvious. I mean, everybody goes and spends money at Walmart and buys stuff at Walmart. Well, that's because their grandparents bought at Walmart, their parents bought at Walmart, and you already, what I mean. It's pretty obvious that that's what you're going to do, just because that's what everyone before you has done. You already know them, like them, trust them. You may talk trash about them sometimes, but you're still going to go back there and spend money with them. So it's the same thing. If somebody already likes your Facebook page, and the people that obviously are connected to those people that like your page, well, they already know the person that likes you. So it puts you one step closer to attracting the audience, in my opinion, that you're looking to get. I mean, you could go as big as you want. I mean, really and truthfully, you can go into Facebook ad pages. That's where you can pay to find people that like watches, if that's what you sell, and land on them in front of them. But obviously that's a bigger budget. So again, it depends on how much money you have and what type of access you're looking to, or what type of people you're looking to get in front of.
Well, I appreciate that. And I apologize if I seem distracted. I was just looking at people's comments, because I do have a few viewers that were able to find the live stream. So shouts out to those. And Mike Phillips, shouts out to you, man, for your help and support, and just helping us get to where we are in so many ways. Sorry, I know that sounds gross. This is horrible. I'll have to clip that out. We'd like to keep this to 30 minutes, so I'm going to wind this down. I did want to give a shout out to Grace Scott and Paul J. Daly from the Dealers Compressed podcast, and also to Chris Leslie. We didn't air last week. We took it was the day before Thanksgiving, so we took that afternoon off. But the week before, Gray, Paul, and Chris and I had a nice discussion, mostly into autonomous vehicles and how things were changing. So you can check that out on the podcast. And then on Monday, Gray Scott, Chris Leslie, and myself, and Dave Revke, if I said that right, I apologize. We launched a discussion. I'm going to bring this up on my screen for everyone to see. Give me a second here. We launched a discussion around Car Gurus, and Car Gurus is definitely one of the big four. You could say big three or big four of third-party advertising providers, and they've recently taken some heat for their business practices, for their quote-unquote price gouging. And what we set out to say is, hey, is that the general consensus, or is there two sides to that story? So if you go up to AutoConverse.com, look for this article, Car Gurus Business Practices. Are retailers really fed up? There's a 30-minute discussion in there with Dave, Chris, Gray, and myself. We did premiere it on Facebook Friday after Thanksgiving, so you can go to the AutoConverse Facebook page to get that. There's a podcast corresponding. It's the recording called What's All the Fuss About Car Gurus? But let us know your thoughts. We want to know, do you have evidence of illegal business practices with Car Gurus? Do you think that their price gouging is unwarranted? And that's an issue. Let us know what you think. We want to have a nice conversation about it, and in a professional way, and not just really be accusatory and just blasting these companies that are, I would say, arguably or inarguably relevant to the success of dealerships out there. Tomorrow at noon, same time, noon Central, Terry Lancaster and I are going to be on doing a live walkthroughs of social media profiles. So we have about 3 sales professionals, auto sales professionals, that have agreed to have us critique their social media presence. So We're going to do that live. It's called Stalk Yourself Live. And you can sign up for that. Go to Masterminds, Auto Retail, look for the self-marketing and social selling Auto Retail Mastermind and get signed up for that. You can join us backstage here on the Zoom, or you can watch live. Might not do the OBS thing, but we will see if we can pull that off. So Brandon, great to have you up here. I know there's only a few minutes there for kind of really get into what you do, but you do some really cool stuff, and it's great to have you kind of get indoctrinated to our community. Do you remember how we met? Was it just through LinkedIn? Did we just cross paths?
It was on LinkedIn. I added you. I was just kind of scrolling through, seeing, trying to build my network up, and I came across you, and then you messaged, and here we are.
It's funny, when Twitter came out, it was common to just follow, right? And if people followed you, you'd follow them back. With LinkedIn, I typically only connected with people that I had some sort of affiliation with, or some sort of conversation. But now over the past few months, I've been making an effort to just connect with people that are relevant to my, to the general interest of what we do. But I don't just blindly just connect. I look at people's names, their titles, I peek at their profiles, and yeah, I selectively reach out. And I could tell from what you're doing, you do some neat stuff. And here we are today doing our first show together. So welcome back anytime.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And folks, thanks again. Brandon Cauble here from A.A.D.A.M. I got to get that acronym in my head. So I thought I had it down.
I'll help you.
A.D.A.M works out pretty well. And thanks again for putting up with me and my choking and my coughing. It's not normally like this, but better to be here than not to be here. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a wrap. Brandon, have a great day.
Thank you, brother.
Everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching live, the rebroadcast, or in the podcast, thank you so much for being here. And join us tomorrow for the live stalking session with Terry Lancaster. And join us next week. I got Phil Candera from Carzeus coming on. We're going to get into a discussion about online retailing. Have a great day, everyone.